Nichole Berlie. It is Friday, January 27th. This is NewsNation Rush Hour. As we come on the air today, Memphis police just hours away from releasing body camera video of a traffic stop that prosecutors say led to a death. 29-year-old Tyre Nichols died 3 days after he was allegedly beaten and pepper sprayed by a group of 5 police officers. The Memphis police chief calling the incident, quote, heinous, reckless, and inhumane. The police department has since fired all of the officers involved. They all now face various criminal charges, including second-degree murder. Nichols' family and their lawyers held a press conference today demanding reform within the police department and calling on protesters to remain peaceful. NewsNation's Alex Capriello is live for us in Memphis. Alex, what is the mood out there right now?
Nichole, good evening to you. I would characterize it as a nervous energy here in the city. I think a lot of people are waiting for these next 2 hours for this body camera footage to be released to the public. I'm standing on historic Beale Street, and this is important context for you because normally on a Friday night, this entire street would be lined with people that are going out for drinks and a good time, but it's relatively quiet today. And when I asked a bartender about that, he said that's what makes him nervous. He thinks everyone is back at home waiting for this video to come out so they can see it for themselves. A lot of mystery surrounds what is actually going to be seen in it, and that makes him nervous because he thinks it could turn ugly here tonight.
Police departments across the nation are on high alert, bracing for potential demonstrations following the release of graphic body camera footage showing the beating of 29-year-old Tyre Nichols. The police chief in Memphis warning her community that the footage will likely trigger outrage, but asking for protests to remain peaceful. That's something the Nichols family also wants.
As of the Tyre Nichols family, please, please, protest, but protest safely.
The 29-year-old died in the hospital 3 days after 5 Memphis police officers allegedly beat and pepper sprayed him following a traffic stop. Those officers were fired and now face a slew of charges, including second-degree murder. Nichols' family says his face was so swollen he was unrecognizable.
I've never seen the video, but what I've heard is very horrific, very horrific. And any of you who have children, please don't let them see it.
Those officers belong to a specialized police unit called the Scorpion Squad and were tasked with fighting crime in problematic areas. That unit is now under internal investigation, and the Nichols family is calling for it to be disbanded.
These are suppression units. These are saturation units. And what they really turn out to be are oppression units. And what they do is they wind up oppressing the people that we care about the most, our children, our young sons and daughters who are black and brown because they are the most vulnerable. Make no mistake, Tyre Nichols at all times was an innocent victim on that night.
From the White House, President Biden is also preparing for an unruly nation, saying outrage is understandable, but violence is never acceptable. Police in Washington, D.C., New York City, and Chicago say officers are ready to mobilize should any violent protests erupt. And 1,000 National Guard troops in Georgia are ready for deployment if riots are incited.
Tonight would be one of the toughest nights that we've ever experienced in this city.
For the very first time, we're also hearing from the attorneys representing these fired ex-Memphis police officers. They said, number one, that they never intended for Tyre Nichols to die, and then number two, that they plan on pleading not guilty to the charges they face. Nichole?
All right, Alex, live there in Memphis. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.